Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and this is the start of a new reading vlog which is going to have a theme sort of based around what I've got coming up over the next week. As I film this now, it is March the 1st, Wednesday, March 1st, and I'm super excited because I'm seeing 3 of my favourite women this week. I am lucky that I have a lot of amazing women in my life and I'm seeing, 3 of them. I'm seeing my friend and colleague Tess tomorrow because we're at a conference for the charity we work for is having a conference in Birmingham, so we're going to that. Then on Saturday I am seeing Pip for afternoon tea, which, speaking of wonderful women, my cousin Lindsay got me for my 40th birthday. I've been eking my 40th out and it's almost my 41st. And then on Sunday, in a change of schedule, because we were going to be seeing each other the weekend after next, my mum is going to be coming for a few days so that we can film some Women's Prize content, because the wonderful women at the Women's Prize have kindly given us the long list in advance so that we can get that done, which is very, very exciting. I'm also seeing Ray next Tuesday, who's one of my favourite women artists. Doctor just stays in my head all the time at the moment, and I've loved her for ages, and so I'm super excited, especially as when I was last meant to go and see it, I had one of the worst circumstances I've had in ages and couldn't go, so making up for it next week. And what I thought I would do reading wise is, instead of heading to some of my favourite female authors, I thought I would head to some women writers that I've not read before. Speaking though of my favourite women writers, I did have the delight of hosting Ayobami Adebayo last night, and I will insert a little bit of footage from something we recorded in a very glamorous location. The glamour of a Blackwell stockroom. Don't say I don't take you places.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, the stockroom of Blackwell's, where we filmed what is the introduction to a reading vlog that I'm going to be doing in the forthcoming weeks and months, where I'm going to be reading 4 books that Ayobami recommends, books that she really, really loves, that also are the introductions and titles of the different parts of her new book, A Spell of Good Things, which I loved. So yeah, I have got some possibilities here of books that I'm going to head to, a couple of which I think I'm very, very likely to. First of all, as it's a new month, I have Patreon Book Club. I also have the Savage prompts, which are 13 prompts that me and my mum are doing throughout the year that lots of you lovely lot recommended. And if you want to join in, please do. We love it. And I've also got the Buzzwordathon choice for March. And I think I'm going to possibly combine 2 of those into one, as my Patreon book club, the book that was voted this month's choice is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia, who I have not read before. I've got a lot of her books because I feel like she's going to be an author that I really, really enjoy. This is based around myths and legends from Mexico, where I shall be heading in a couple of weeks. And also, it's got purple on the cover, sort of ish. Is that purple? I think that's purple. Yeah, well, there's definitely purple there. It's also got turquoise on it, which is one of my mum's favourite colours. So although I do have a few other purple books on my book trolley that I would like to get to at some point, but this is one that I need to read soon because we're going to be having book club a week today. So yeah, looking forward to getting to that one. Then the Buzzwordathon word is secret, and I've been meaning to read Deesha Philyaw's The Secret Lives of Church Ladies for ages. This is a collection of short stories that just, I've not heard a single negative review. In fact, I've not even heard a middling review. I've only heard amazing reviews. And yeah, I've been wanting to get to this. So this is something that I may well start. It also looks like I could, it's quite a big font, so maybe I'll be able to get through that quite quickly. Then, when I see Pip for afternoon tea, we're also going to go and see Women Talking, which is adapted from the book by Miriam, who is an author that I have meant to read for ages and ages and ages. And this is all about a group of Mennonite women who thought they were being sexually assaulted in the night by demons, but actually it turned out it was men from their, I can never say the word colony. There's an adaptation of it, so I would like to read the book before I see the film. I think actually maybe I've just now decided this might be the first one that I read because I want to have a little bit of space between the book and the film. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Now, I have got to film on my lunch break. It is my lunch break now. I also need to go and feed Foster because we're looking after him a little bit this week and next week actually. Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Oh dear. I really want to film my sorting out the shelves, which is a series of videos I used to do on this channel when I did on Patreon, where I reconcile the space on my shelves with the books that come in, and then that invariably links to me sorting out my trolley, my book trolley. And there are 3 books that I said I needed to read by the end of February. It's now March and I haven't, but I'm giving myself a little bit of extra time that I would like to get to, and they're all actually, the ones remaining, because there were 4, I've read 1, are by women writers that I've never read before. So these 3 could be options too. I have Where I End by Sophie White, The Furrows by Namwali Serpell, and Things They Lost by Okwiri Oduor. This one at the moment, out of those 3, is calling to me the most. It's about Kenyan myths and legends, I believe. So maybe I've got a bit of a myths and legend things going on at the moment, because also I really want to read, well, because Gods of Jade and Shadows is high up on my TBR and I'm very excited about that, and it's Mexican myths. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I think, like I said, I'm going to head to Women Talking first. I've got lots of meetings this afternoon, and then I've got some calls I've got to do after work. So I don't know if I'll catch up with you before tomorrow when I head to Birmingham and get to see lovely Tess, and we're off to Mowgli, which is just one of my favourite places ever, and also is a chain of independent restaurants that was started by another wonderful woman, Nisha Katona. So there we go. It's all making sense. Well, to me at least anyway. It might not be to everyone else. I will catch up with you tomorrow when I've read some of this and have things to say. Good morning, everyone. There's my old office, Liverpool Library. I am in Liverpool on the way to the station because I'm off to Birmingham for a conference day. I think I've misdressed. I think I've gone a little bit too casual. I've gone for blue jeans and my Adidas shell toes, which possibly isn't the one. But this coat, ooh, I'm taking her out again. Oh, look at that. Anyway, I think this coat makes everything look smart, so maybe I should just wear it all day and not take it off. Anyway, off to Brum. Very excited because I get to see my mate Tess, who used to be my assistant and now is the other project manager, and we're going out for Mowgli afterwards. I might be about to get hit by a bus. Bye. Hey up everyone, I am now back from Birmingham. It's about 9:30 at night, and I thought I'd have a catch up with you about a book that I've been reading, a book that I bought, and then I've got some book post, and also actually how many dichotomy. I'm already flapping about what I might read next. It all makes sense as we go through. Anyway, before we talk about these books, I just want to say I had the best day today. It was Libraries Connected, which is the charity that I work for part-time. It was their library innovation gathering, and it was libraries basically sharing lots of different things that they've been doing over the last 12 months. And honestly, so it was incredible. We had this incredible speaker from Paris at a library where they have been building it basically from the users, like the people who end up frequenting the library help pick how it was built, what was stocked, what events they have on. Oh, it's just phenomenal. I really, really, really want to go, and I did ask if I could, and maybe. And then there was just loads of libraries from around the UK. The Hive, which is one of my mum's favourites, and the stuff that they were doing with recruiting in a really different way. There was also the Story Museum. One story they told made me weep. It was just, I've come back buzzing, really, really buzzing. Anyway, on to books, from libraries to books. I packed Women Talking with me, and I had read the intro about August, this man who's taking the notes, but I haven't got to the meeting. I started the meeting, and I will say there are a lot of characters, and sometimes I got really confused, and I couldn't work out whether that was intentional, because awful things have happened to all of these women. However, they're being asked to vote on whether they should stay or whether they should go, and sometimes there are women on either side of the argument, and sometimes I was getting confused as to who they were. But I was like properly getting through it, and then on the train back I just wasn't quite in the mood, which was slightly ironic, because after going to Mowgli with Tess, we went to Furrows, and I was like, I need to pick another book because I'm going to need something else to read on the train. I'm whizzing through the book that I'm reading. You may all judge me for what I ended up picking up, especially because I've now not read any of it. I picked up the paperback edition of Things They Lost by Okwiri Oduor, which is a book I mentioned yesterday I really want to read and have in hardback. And I thought I preferred this cover to this cover, but now I'm not so sure. But Mum's coming this weekend, as I've mentioned, so I'll give her one of these. I think this is what I'm going to read next, though. That said, speaking of the devil that is my mother Louise, and I was watching her latest wrap-up on the train on the way back, and she was talking about Memphis, which I've been meaning to read for ages, and now I'm desperate to read that. So we have a tie as to what I might head to next. I mean, I don't really have to worry about it because I need to finish Women Talking, but yeah. I came back and there was lots of book posts, and I accidentally opened one because it was from Amazon. I was thinking, I don't buy books from Amazon. However, my wish list is books on Amazon that you can't get here in the UK, and I'd mentioned it in a video that's gone live today about like, oh, if you want to get me something for my birthday from my wishes, feel free. But somebody had already beat me to it and got me The Famous Magician by Cecile Aria from the storybook editions that New Directions have done. And this was very kindly sent to me by BW Avid Reader, who said, saw this on your wish list, looks like an interesting read, thank you for your YouTube channel, which is really, really kind. I really want to get this whole set eventually, because I've seen them on, now, definitely on Jaden's channel. I feel like I've seen them on a couple of like people wanting to get to them though. So yeah, this I am very, very excited for, so that's nice. And then I have 5 more to open. So we've got a bit of unboxing going on. I mean, imagine. Oh, well, I won't be reading this one. Gosh, I forgot that this isn't... I'd normally do this on Patreon, so I'm really, really frank. Anyway, I don't think I will be reading this one because I've not read any of John Bell's crime novels. I heard Snow wasn't very good, and this is The Lockup. So, sorry, Faber. I love a lot of the books that you send, but not bothered about that one. Unsolicited, really. Then we have something very slight in here. Oh, this is the Canon Cake catalogue. I have been dreadful reading catalogues this year, and considering this is now the July to December batch, oh dear, Simon, oh dear. I do need to sit down and catch up with that, because I think I'm planning a podcast. I think it's happening, and I need to know what book's coming out when, so there we go. Oh, I wasn't expecting this, and I'm very excited for it. This is Family Meal, the new, now is it short stories or is it a novel? It's told in really nice vignettes, that's something for sure. Oh, that's instant like catnip to me. It's Family Meal by Brian Washington, which is out in bloomin' heck, October. So that's a very early proof from the lovely folk at Atlantic. I'm really excited for this. I have enjoyed his books more and more as I've read them. I liked Lot a lot. I thought Memorial was brilliant, and so yeah, no, I'm really excited for this. Family Meal, 5th of October 2023. There we go. That's something to look forward to. Right, then in this one we have, oh my god, the books are just getting wilder and wilder that are coming out. So recently I've talked about a book which is told by, well, it's narrated by a queer, dangerously hungry, hi Oscar, not, I don't know if Oscar is queer, he's never really identified himself in that way. He's probably dangerously hungry because I haven't put any food down since I've got back. Anyway, yeah, narrated by a queer, dangerously hungry mountain lion. And then there's Patricia Wants a Cuddle, which is about a queer, giant, like King Kong ape, only female. And this is bored gay werewolf. Well, who could not resist that? Or who could resist that? He's here, he's queer, and he's a werewolf. And this is out in June. I can't wait to read that. That's brilliant. And then I have this big parcel, and I think this has come from the team, the housekeepers, but they've already sent me a really nice housekeeper's box, and this is the second one. So I feel a bit like, gosh, because I shared the first one on Instagram, and now this one has arrived, and this one has more After Eight chocolates and another proof of The Housekeepers by Alex Hay. So yeah, I might give this to Mum, see if she would like it. Because I think, oh, she loves her book in a big old creepy house. She was talking about that today in her video. So I will pass that on to her, because even though frankly I love After Eight and would like to eat them all to myself, I've already got a pack and I'm trying to eat less sweet stuff, and she would probably really enjoy having that. So yeah, that's the final parcel. I'm expecting a big parcel of all of the Women's Prize long-listed books that I don't have from the lovely folk at the Women's Prize. Oscar may knock the camera over at any moment because he's going wild with the paper envelopes, padded envelopes, because me and Mum are hoping, all right, Oscar, we're hoping to film that video over the weekend. Well, we will be filming that video, but it would be really nice to hold them all up. Although I think there's one that isn't out now, because quite a few came out today, and I nearly bought those in foils. Anyway, before Oscar causes absolute mayhem, I'm going to go. I will speak to you tomorrow, probably once I have finished Women Talking, wherever I've just popped that, because I've now confused myself. I shall see you all then. Oscar, please, what are you playing at? Oh. Oh! Morning everyone. I have done something very naughty this morning. I have skipped cereal because all I could think about, and have waited until 11 o'clock to have, because I feel that's almost justifiable, it's almost lunch, it's a Burger King. I woke up non-stop just thinking about bacon double cheeseburgers. So it's later on Friday, and I have spent the morning mainly catching up with Love Island because I've missed a few episodes, and also, sad to say, struggling through Women Talking. It really lost momentum for me from sort of, well, where I was at on the train yesterday, and I think it's why I didn't go back to it sooner. It starts off a bit confusingly with August, as I mentioned, who has come back to this Mennonite group. He's taking these notes of a meeting of the women of this group who have been abused by some of their husbands, brothers, etc. And initially, there's kind of this intrigue as to what's happened, and then you're horrified by what's happened, because they obviously, well, the bit I've forgotten is they initially believed it was by like aliens or spirits or something, and clearly it wasn't. And then it's just the voices, they're so jumbled that even though the same names would creep up, I couldn't work out who was who at all. I didn't feel like I could physically, apart from, interestingly, the posters that I've obviously seen of the film, which I'm going to go and see tomorrow with Pip, and I'm hoping is a lot better. I think it probably will be. This does feel more like it should be a film than a book, because it's not really, the women aren't really talking, they're giving small snapshots into everything, and I just didn't feel like I got fully formed women telling their tales, which after the initial horrifying shock of what they've been through, I don't know, it was just a constant question of, are they going, are they not? Then they suddenly make the decision out of nowhere. Also, even though the book is broken into bits, days seem to happen in between. I just found it very confusing, if I'm honest, and I just didn't get fully into it, and I just wasn't engaged with the women in the book, which is just a real shame, because that's obviously what the book is about. And also, like, I know some people absolutely love this, and I'm thrilled that you do, and this is not I do find it funny when people get really offended when people don't like a book they like, and then even though they're saying they're not coming for you, they do come for you a bit, because it happened with me and Demon Copperhead in when I didn't include it in my women's predictions because I'm not the biggest Kingsolver fan. I mean, imagine, how dare I? And also, like, I'm not enjoying kicking a book that other people love because this is super duper popular, and I was really hoping to love Miriam Toews, and now I'm having a bit of a worry, like, after Margaret Atwood's Alias Grace last month and then this, have I fallen out of love with Canadian writing? I'm sure I haven't. I need to probably try some others, but I definitely will try Miriam Toews again. I've got a few of her books. I just think this one was confusing whilst being vague, and I felt, bar the shocking incident that happened, there wasn't much more to it, and I didn't really see the purpose in it. And I feel sad about that because I should have really cared, because it's based on a true story and what those women went through was horrific. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think in terms of what I'm going to read next, I changed my mind again, and it's now between Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow, which is on the Women's Prize longlist, which hasn't been announced yet as I film this, but will have been by the time this goes live, or my Patreon book club pick. But I think I'm probably going to go for this one first because Mum's coming this weekend. I thought actually it might be quite nice when we're reacting if we both read it to see if we have a similar reaction to it or not. I mean, that's something we tend to leave till later, but I think it's quite nice to, you know, chat about the books that we've got in common. So probably that, and then I think I'll head to this after that. So that's kind of where I'm at. I also thought I would share some posts that I've got today. 2 parcels, 2 bookish parcels. I hate these ones where they're sort of air packed because they're really hard to open properly. So here we have, oh, Megan Nolan's second novel, Ordinary Human Failings. I haven't read Acts of Desperation yet. I kind of got put off by it, and I'm not quite sure why. This is coming out in July. And then we have in here, oh, Esther Yee's Y/N from Europa Editions, along with their catalogue for the books they've got coming this July and November. And I don't know what this is about at all. An unmissable debut about fandom obsession and literary self-destruction. So, yeah, Daniela at Europa thinks that I will love it. So I shall try and give it a whirl at some point. This is out in June, so I've got a little bit of time to get to it. There you go. Europa Books, I love the team. Their books are a little bit hit and miss with me. And I actually know that's not true. I'm saying that because I've read a lot of Ferrante, who they publish, and she's very hit and miss with me, so that's probably not very fair. But I've got a few of theirs that I'm really keen to get to at some point. I'm wondering if I should do some themed vlogs where I head to a particular indie publisher to see if I get on with them or not. That could be quite interesting. Anyway, so we have that. So there's that. I am going to go now because I've been talking for far too long already. It is Chris and my 5th wedding anniversary, so tonight we're going to have some lovely tapas from M&S and watch a movie before Chris goes away for the weekend tomorrow, and I'll be seeing Pip to go and see the film of Women Talking. I am really disappointed I didn't love it, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe I was expecting to love Toews so much, this just hasn't quite hit the mark, but I will try her again. I will try her again. There are a few sentences in here I was like, wow, but sadly there were few and far between. So yeah, anyway, there's that. I'll speak to you all when I have read some of Memphis. Even though we're leaving. Hi everyone, I am back from having a lovely, lovely day with Pip. We caught up over coffee in 200 Degrees, which is one of my favourite indie chains. Then we went and had a little spree around the shops. I will show you some of the stuff that, well, all the stuff I bought actually. Went and then had afternoon tea at the art school in the Cellars, and that was honestly stunning, so delicious. Hi Oscar. It was lovely. We really loved the savouries particularly. They were like astounding. Yeah, so it was really, 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 really delicious. And then went to see Women Talking, which I thought was brilliant. The acting and the cinematography were fantastic. I felt there was that distance again with the characters a little, but less so than the book. I would give it a good... Excuse me. You better not be scratching that. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Pip said she'd be lucky if it got a 3. So there we go. One thing I did find interesting was, I didn't notice this until towards the end, it sort of got, I think, I don't know if this is my imagination, but I felt like it started off being in colour and then got greyer as it went on, which is interesting because you thought it might go the other way, but that might just be my imagination. Maybe it was grey the whole way through. Anyway, what did I pick up? So I popped into TK Maxx and got, I love TK Maxx for candles, so I got mahogany and teak wood, so I can pop that on shortly. Oh, there's something about woody smells that they don't really smell like wood. They don't even smell of the woods. They just smell, I don't know, it's something, spiciness, that's what it is. There's a spice to them that I really, really love. I also spotted this just as I was getting to the checkout, and I was like, I can't leave without that. Look at that mug, it's absolutely huge. And sadly, all my Elizabeth McNeil mugs have either chipped or cracked. I've had them for quite a while though, and I love a pint mug, and I think this might actually even be more than a pint. So got that, and then got quite a few bath bombs and bubble bars, which I will show you in due course. Actually, I might have a bath with Atom Heart Mother shortly. I also got Lakes, which are my favourites, and I have a Cuddle bubble bar and another of the Atom Heart Mother ones, which they smell gorgeous. So then I also popped to Waterstones, and I'd forgotten I had a voucher that I got for doing some work with Books in My Bag, and not all of the Women's Prize long list has arrived. So I went on a spree and I managed to get 3 more of them. The first of the 3 that I got is The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff. And I just love that cover. I love the title. I don't know what it is about at all. Oh, it's about Geeta, who's believed to have killed her vanished husband. Okay, I love it already. So yeah, Bandit Queens, very excited for that one. That one I could end up possibly reading next. Then I got Wandering Souls by Cecile Penn, which I believe is a tale of a Vietnamese family, I want to say. Yeah, it's after the American troops leave Vietnam. And yeah, there we go. I've talked about this in my Women's Prize reaction video with Mum before this goes live, so it all just feels a bit weird to unwind me. And then the last of the ones that I managed to get, but not the last of the books that I bought with this voucher, thankfully, like, it was 100 quid. I've still got £35 on it, can you believe it? But I got Jennifer Croft's Homesick, which is, I think, fascinating because she translates Olga, I can never say her surname, but the author who's been up for loads of the International Booker Prizes. So that's really interesting. Also, in America, it has memoir in the title, like a memoir. So I'm a little bit confused. But anyway, it must have qualified because here it is. And it's on the list. And then I couldn't resist. Well, this will give you a clue of what I couldn't resist, because they had these Clytemnestra bookmarks at the till, and the Clytemnestra finished edition is so beautiful. Well, finished edition, this is the Waterstones special edition, that I had to get myself one. And as Mother's Day is incoming, one of my presents won't arrive because it's on its way from America, so it won't arrive in time. I got her a copy of it too. So there we go. That is what I got in Liverpool today with a little film review. I'm now going to pop a pizza in the oven, have that with a bit of booktube, head to the bath with Memphis, and then probably get an early night, actually. I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now. How lush is that? Pun intended. With the clouds on it. It smells amazing. It smells really appley, but it says it's Brazilian orange. Hey up everyone, it is Sunday and I thought I would let you know about a bit of a reading change going on and also some book posts that came yesterday. I actually even, this happens randomly so often, didn't know there was any book post because it had been put in the study, and so yeah, I don't go in there when I'm not working. So yeah. Anyway, the changes first. So I was reading Memphis and really enjoying it. However, book club is Wednesday and Mum is arriving this afternoon, and when me and Mum spend time together we don't get very much reading done unless we have like proper separate spaces, because we just chat, and as we're going to be doing a lot of filming as well and just going out and doing bits and bobs, I was thinking I need to get book club, Patreon book club, I need to get the Patreon book club book read, and that is Gods of Jade and Shadow. So this is what I'm going to be heading to today before Mum arrives, and then I think we're going to go and have some fish and chips at Parkgate, which I think does the best fish and chips in the land, and my stepdad isn't a big fan of fish, and so Mum doesn't get to have fish and chips very often, so we thought we'd go there and have that. Maybe get some ice cream if it's still open, although it is blinking cold, sunny but cold. I don't know, like, I tend to, I think, catch up sort of at random points. Would you like there to be more of a, what's the word I was going to say? Not situation, not scenario, more of a system to it? So maybe catching up like half at the beginning, my initial thoughts once I've read a little bit, maybe halfway, and then at the end without spoilers. What are your thoughts? Or would you rather I just said, oh, I'm going to read this next and then tell you when I finished it? Because Jen does that and I like that as well. I like all sorts of different ways, but I'm just wondering, or maybe I should just do it the way I do it, and that might change depending on different books. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean, imagine that. So anyway, yeah, that is my update this Sunday. Oh no, it's not. That was going to be my update this Sunday morning. However, the books that came. So firstly, the lovely folk at Canongate have very kindly sent me The Middle Daughter by Chika Onigwa, and this is one of the authors that Ayobami Adebayo recommends and quotes from and gives a title to one of the parts of A Spell of Good Things. It's the second part, which is called On Black Sister Street, and I have that book as well. I'm going to read that for the vlog. However, she was raving about this and I'd seen it on Instagram, and the cover I just think is stunning, so I asked for it. And I don't know if I'll read this one first or not. We shall see, quite possibly, because I think that vlog I will probably film sort of April, May-ish, because March is going to be pretty busy with Women's Pride stuff. March is my birthday month, and I have mentioned before that I have a wish list that I used to just do for my birthday and Christmas, but now I'm doing all year round. As it's my birthday, I'm mentioning it a tiny little bit more. And I've had some books off it, the first of which is How to Be Eaten by Maria Adelmann. I'm so excited about this. Let me read you the blurb and you'll see for why. Now, what I will say is it didn't come with a note, so I don't know who it's from. So whoever you are, thank you. And if it's you, please leave a comment below. But it says, in present day in New York City, 5 women meet in a basement support group to process their traumas. Bernice grapples with the fallout of dating a psychopath, blue-bearded millionaire. Ruby, once devoured by a wolf, now wears him as a coat. Gretel questions her memory of being held captive in a house made of candy. Ashley, the winner of a Bachelorette dating show, wonders if she really got her promised fairy tale ending. And Rihanna's love story will shock them all. So it's all women who have kind of been in fairy tales, and I just love that. It feels very me, although I haven't read any fairy tales for ages. The lovely Miss SD Weekly has sent me Nuclear Family by Joseph Han, and I can't remember who had raved about this and got me to want to read it, but it sounded incredible. It's about a Korean family, and I think goes back, I think it's a Korean American family, but it goes back to the history and culture of Korea, which I just find fascinating. So I'm really intrigued for this one. And then I think I've held up one of these books in this video already, maybe. The lovely Kathy I has sent me The English Understand Wool by Helen DeWitt, which is part of the storybook New Directions series. And I just think this looks brilliant. It's got cakes on the cover. I'm very much into cake, and I'm quite tempted to just pick it up and read it, frankly, because it's so short. However, I have read have I read Helen DeWitt before? Have I read Lightning Rods? I might have, but it might have been pre booktube. I mean, imagine if there was ever a time pre-booktube, but there was. That arrived, and that's very, very kind. I thought I would share those with you. Right, I'm gonna go and get reading Book Club book, and I will report back when I have more to say, probably with snippets of me and my mother in between now and then.
And the only reason he got it was because so you know the
Just going for it.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's because you're waiting for me to say something silly.
Well, you said two things already that would have been absolute gold.
Well, I could say them again.
Well, no, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. Oh no, I'm showing. I don't want to show the books before I talk about them.
Faffo. Oh, yes, you can see.
See? You're ruining the surprise.
God.
Surprise, surprise.
Oh.
I've also... noticeably they're not your books that you've just thrown on the floor in that devilish way.
I didn't
I think
throw
this is all right.
They were just heavy.
I'm a little bit worried about... Should we move him?
Who?
He's growing out your head.
Yes, but as I've just said, it's appropriate because it's a reversal of Sophie.
You can stay there. He's not Zeus. He's some Italian somebody
You
or
said
other.
you thought he was like Zeus.
I've decided he's Zeus, but he's officially Italian.
Who are you to decide whether it's a Greek god or not?
It's based on an actual statue. Because when I bought it, he's done something to his head actually. Anyway, let's move on. I like them though. They have quite a lot of them at TK Maxx.
What are you doing?
Just making sure my hair's alright. Right then, you ready?
I think so, yeah. Are we ready then or not? Are we ready?
I'm waiting for the...
I quite like that one.
I don't like it in videos. Although I did leave it in Chris having a wee because he had his headphones on. And I was filming and I was chatting away and then suddenly he was just in the loudest wee I think I've ever heard. In that clip I'm just like... Oh, there's a mark on it. I've spotted that. Furious.
Oh no.
Furious that I got sent a free book. I had a tear on it. Outrageous. I just read the first line and didn't like it.
Why not?
First I got myself born.
Yeah.
Then it did improve after that.
Yeah.
I'll say that much for it. There we go.
Ah!
It is quite loud and obnoxious though.
Yeah, it is loud. I didn't realise how loud it was in here.
Right. Mum's favourite shop. I've been here for 2.5 hours. Or possibly just 20 minutes. I'm alright, thank you. There she is, dancing with bread. There she is, my mummy. Foster, are you hungry? No? Oh, absolutely not bothered that I'm here whatsoever. Just ignore me. It's fine. Hey up everyone, it is now Wednesday lunchtime, almost the end of my lunch break actually. I'm back at work today. Had a lovely time with my mother. Didn't get massive reading done, but have just finished Gods of Jade and Shadow, which I'll talk to you about in a little bit. I had a fab time with Mum, recorded lots of videos around the Women's Prize and also just some different chats and stuff. So that was really, really lovely. I don't know when the videos for her channel will be on her channel, but I'll link her channel down below so that if you want to go and see them or previous videos or whatever, yeah, do. And then also went to Cheshire Oaks and had a lovely lunch there and did some pottering, some mooching, tried to find me a birthday present, couldn't. Then yesterday we went to Heswell and went to Lingham's bookshop and around the charity shops and I did buy some stuff which I'll show you shortly. Then I didn't film last night because I was in a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful mood as I'd come back all chilled, got the bus home, front of the double-decker upstairs, one of my favourite places to be, lovely. Went and saw Foster because I'm feeding him at the moment, who just blanked me as his want. In fact, I need to go and feed him again shortly. We were meant to be going to see Ray last night, but as you can gather from the meant to be, we didn't. And that is because On the way back from work, where Chris comes to get me and we drive off to see Ray, the car broke down and it's going to be in the garage for a couple of days, and by the time Chris got back it was just too late to get a train or anything, and the train back would have been a nightmare because it was in Manchester. So I didn't go. So that's the second time I've not seen Ray and I'm a bit sad about it, but hey ho, let's park that one for now. Park, broken down car, let's not. I'm quite concerned about how much this is going to cost me. Anyway, what did I get yesterday? In the charity shops, got them all in my books and my bag. I spotted this out the corner of mine. I was like, I think I really like that. And I showed it to my mum and I was like, do I really like that? And she was like, yeah, you do really like that. I don't know where it's going to live, but this is a painting of Chatsworth House, which is famous partly because of, well, to be honest, Jane Austen, and Pride and Prejudice, but also Chatsworth's just one of like the UK sort of, I guess, most famous, I think it is one of the most famous stately homes, and it's not far from where I grew up, and we would go there a lot and play in the park and stuff. And it was also run by Deborah Devonshire, who was Deborah Mitford, and I love the Mitfords, and apparently once my gran bumped into her in the gardens and they just had a lovely chat. So yeah, I thought that'd be really nice. And I am thinking about, I would quite like to do like a collage of lots of different random paintings all the way up the staircases in this house, but I don't know if that is a little bit too grand. If not, maybe there's somewhere in here or in the study that I can pop that, but I really liked it. And then books wise, I knew the proof was coming, but I saw it was signed and everyone's raving about it and I'm excited for it. So I got In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, which is, well, it's not a book that I would normally pick up, but does sort of match with what I talked about in a video recently where I was talking about historical novels that have an LGBTQIA plus twist pre the 1980s, if they're in the UK, or about gay men or gay women or trans people in the UK. Anyway, this is set around World War II, I think, and does have a queer love story at its heart. So I'm really intrigued for this one, and absolutely everyone who's read it is loving it. Although some of those people also loved The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis, so that makes me slightly dubious, but still we'll go with it. I do really like this cover though. I think that's really eye-catching. So that's what I got. Now, on to what I have read. And I have finished, I didn't do any catch-ups because me and Mum were just chatting so much over the last couple of days, but I was reading before I went to sleep when I woke up, and any time me and Mum weren't with each other basically, because then it was just na, which is lovely. This is Gods of Jade and Shadow. This is set in the Jazz Age in Mexico and is about a young woman called Cassiopeia who is living with her grandfather, who is very well off. She's got a horrible cousin called Martin, and her mum are basically treated like slaves within the house. I thought at first this was going to be kind of a Cinderella riff, but actually it becomes much more, well, it's quite funny because Silvia Moreno Garcia pretty much says this isn't a Cinderella story. It's pretty much straight after I had that thought. And what happens is that Cassiopeia, when she is cleaning her grandfather's room one day, and her cousin Martin's been particularly bad, like mean to her, she opens a box that she hasn't seen before that she shouldn't. It's full of bones, and the bones turn into a god of death who she has woken and now has part of him in her. And so they are bound together, and he is going to reclaim the underworld. And so we follow on from there. And I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it for the fact that it was set in Mexico, because I'm going to go to Mexico soon, and so I love the fact that there are myths and legends, although slightly concerned about swimming in a cenote now, considering there may well be feathered serpents that might bite my bum, or just eat me actually. And also they were used for like throwing jewels and stuff in, but also sacrificial victims, and so I loved all of that, and just finding out more about all these different gods, and also seeing actually, and it's something that Silvia Moreno Garcia does kind of point at, the ways that these myths and legends in the Mayan world, and I'm very excited because I'm going to be seeing a Mayan temple, and so all of that was there as well, really riff off the Greek myths, which I know quite well because my mum's a classicist and I was kind of brought up on them. So yeah, I thought this was fab. I will say the only thing that let me down slightly was that the ending was one of those ones where something dreadful happened and I felt the author tried to cheer it up, and actually I would have been much happier if it had been that shocking twist, which I won't say any more about. And I don't want to say too much more. One thing I do want to say, actually, though, I don't want to say too much more, but one thing I definitely do want to say is I love the way it looked at how things were changing for women in Mexico during the Jazz Age, and how Cassiopeia changes as she goes out on this adventure and journey with this god, who sounded absolutely delicious, by the way. So there we go, that's my thoughts on that. Not too much to say, partly because I feel like even though this is going to go live after Patreon Book Club, people might see it beforehand. I don't know why that is. That is tonight. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And then I think what I'm going to head to next is, and I don't have it with me, so hang on one second. I am back. And what I'm going to head to next, I was saying I know I'm going to, because I'm doing an event with the author on Friday, is Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. I held up the Waterstones special edition. I'm obviously going to be reading the proof because I'll probably want to batter it and fold pages over and stuff. I don't know if I will share my thoughts on here. I'm a bit unsure as to doing that with books I read for events. What I might do is wrap this video up once the event is done, or do I wrap it up now? Okay, what I'll do is, if you're still seeing this, I obviously really liked it, so I will talk about it later after the event. If that makes sense, it'll make sense because you'll see it. I don't know what there might be at the end of this video now, or what there might be between now and then, but we shall see, and we shall discover together, and that'll be lovely. I'll speak to you either in another video very soon, or in a little bit. Hi, Foster. How are you? You alright? Yeah? Oh, you're almost like happy to see me. I mean, imagine I wasn't even allowed a stroke. Hello, good boy. Oscar? Oh, it's not really, Millie, come on. Come on. Millie, come on. Oh, she hates it. Come on, Moo. Come on. Hi everyone, it is now Saturday, and as you might be able to tell, I've had a hair and a beard chopping. In that last clip, I'm looking a bit like a Minotaur. I've gone with a Greek legendary figure for that because I've been thinking about them a lot. But before I talk to you about Clytemnestra, I read it and loved it. I thought I'd just mention what I didn't know what you were going to get was so much snow. It really, really took me by surprise because Mum had said, oh, it might snow, so I'm going to leave while it's still light on Tuesday. No snow Tuesday, tiny bit on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday morning. Whew. Oh, and poor Mildred, she absolutely hated it. She's never been outside in snow because she's mildly agoraphobic, but that was her first time. I put her out there and off she ran, and oh God, she didn't know how to get back. I was actually worried that we wouldn't be able to do our event, Costanza and I, about Clytemnestra, which I have read and absolutely loved. I think that Costanza has done an incredible job with this. Not an incredible job. Well, yeah, an incredible job. It's so beautifully written and it really has haunted me quite a bit. Clytemnestra is a lesser known character for me. I didn't realise quite how at the heart of everything she was, or at least she knew people who are at the heart of other myths and legends. So we hear a bit about Jason and the Argonauts and the Golden Fleece. Obviously we get to know Agamemnon because of her Helen, Paris. So there are some big names, Leda, around her. And I just think the way she gives Clytemnestra this very clear, powerful, complex voice, but also whilst it's very much set in the land of gods and monsters and people's beliefs, the gods are very much at the background, which might sound like there's no action. There's so much action in here, and if you know the story of Clytemnestra, you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, you're going to love finding out. And also, if you do know it, you're still going to really, really enjoy it, because I did, and it got to me so much. There were certain bits I knew were coming, and I still cried when they happened. It's a book very much about mothers and children. It's very much about sisters. It's very much about what it is to be a powerful woman in a world that doesn't want that, or where men think they want that and they don't really. I'll talk about it much more in my wrap-up, but suffice to say, I absolutely loved it. And yeah, the fact that the gods were much more at the background, I really enjoyed, because it felt very different and was much more about human nature and human emotion and why these people were doing the things they were doing. I also love finding out more about Sparta, which I didn't know too much about, and honestly, it's just ridiculously pretty, isn't it? This Waterstones edition, in fact. Oh, he's matching. Now, speaking of Waterstones editions, and before I round this vlog off, because I think it's going to be over 50 minutes, I'm so sorry, although I have started reading Demon Copperhead, and I've got a feeling that vlog is going to be so long, because I like to go off on a tangent and waffle, so does Mum, and I recorded the first clip of my thoughts on the first 50 pages, and it was like 5 minutes. So if we're doing that 12 times each, woe betide, it could be possibly screening in cinemas next week. Anyway, speaking of Waterstone Special Editions, I picked up Wayward by Amelia Hart, which I have the proof of, but how stunning is that? Honestly, it's just ridiculous. I'm doing an event with Amelia on the 27th and Beth Underdown too in Liverpool, so if you're about and you want to come, do. I'm really excited for reading this. Now that I've got this snazzy edition, I might take the proof away with me, although I'm thinking actually I don't want to take any work-based books, even though so many people have told me I'm absolutely going to love this. Yeah, there's that. And I thought I would just finally mention 3 books that were sent by some of you lovely lot from my wish list, and the first one is Boys Come First by Erin Foley, which I had seen talked about on a few different Instagram accounts. I'm really excited for this one. It's all about what it's like to be black and queer in America. I think hopefully with the difficulties, I get the feeling this also is quite celebratory, and I feel that is much needed. So thank you to the lovely Denise who got me that one. She also got me the first of 2 books that are on the Carol Shields Prize long list, which was announced on Wednesday and is so blinking brilliant. I want all of them, because I just, it's a long list that I just really am intrigued by and really, really love. I love the Women's Prize long list, obviously. She very kindly got me We Measure the Earth with Our Bodies by Tsering Yangzom Lama, and it just sounded amazing. It says, for readers of Homegoing and The Leavers, a compelling and profound debut novel about a Tibetan family's journey through exile. And I know very little about Tibet, and I love that cover, so that's lovely. And then the lovely Jane Dolman got me another book that's on the long list, which is Elsewhere by Alexis Shaitkin. And she wrote St. X, which I might have on my shelves and I haven't got around to, but I've meant to. This, though, sounds so incredible. Well, it says it has elements of Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, but what really intrigued me was Vera grows up in a small town, removed and isolated, pressed up against the mountains, cloud-covered and damp year-round. This town, fiercely protective, brutal and unforgiving, in its adherence to tradition, faces a singular affliction. Some mothers vanish, disappearing into the clouds. It's the exquisite pain and intrinsic beauty of their lives. It sets them apart from people elsewhere and gives them meaning. So these women just seem to vanish and go elsewhere. And yeah, I'm intrigued. I also am absolutely in love with that cover. I really want to read this now, but I don't want to batter it about in suitcases and stuff. So I'm going to head to this very soon when I get back. Also, I feel like with the ones that have come for my birthday, like these, I should hold off until after my birthday to read them. I won't go on about it anymore, but that wish list is down below if you'd like to have a gander. Also, Patreon is linked down below if you want to join our book club. We're going to be reading Pod by Laline Paul for our next pick, which will be interesting because dolphin narration, that could go in all sorts of directions, I think, that conversation. So really looking forward to that. And also my Instagram is linked down below. I've got a few spare copies of some of the women's prize books, so I might do a giveaway of that at some point. And you can follow just other stuff that I'm getting on with. And if you would like to like this video, that would be lovely. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be great. And if you want to leave me an emoji of a snowflake, a snowman, or a dolphin, because of pod and the fact I'll be reading that probably next week, do so. And yeah, any other comments about anything you'd like to see in future vlogs or anything like that. This is a corking long one, and I do apologise for that, but next Sunday with my mother could be even longer. Like I said, you might need popcorn, hot dogs, meat or veggie or vegan. You might want a big drink and to watch it on a big screen at your local cinema possibly, because it could be that long and epic. We'll see how we go. Anyway, as always, it's lovely to chat to you, lovely to have you here, and I will chat with you in the comments before I see you in another video very soon. Bye.